Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider and lead Lakers content creator for Offside, joined by my Offside colleague in Raj Shapalu. And Raj, it is a Sunday evening. It looks like I'm about to head towards an 0-2 fantasy football week. The Vikings are embarrassing. UCLA somehow even worse. And I was looking at the Lakers. All right, give me the pick me up. Just send me off into the work week. It's a nice short work week because of Thanksgiving coming up. Send me into the week with some good vibes. The vibes are immaculate surrounding this team. And the Lakers did not do that. They won. You know, you take a win, but it was not particularly impressive. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Yeah, that was fun. At least for the end before, all that craziness happened. I was getting a little excited about the team, and you can kind of have some aspirations about where they can get to. But you're talking about Thanksgiving. We have another game before then. We have the Clippers still to go through before Thanksgiving anyway. But no,
No. I just mean I'm looking at it like, so when you have kids,
okay.
you just count down the days until you have the support of your significant other.
Gotcha.
So she doesn't work on Thursday. So for me, I have the kids tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday all to myself.
I see.
And on Thursday, I get the support of Jen being here all day. So it's like a short work week for me. And that, like, the kids are my work. This isn't work. This is you and me talking basketball. And we happen to have to do so at certain times on certain platforms and for certain amounts of time. But those assholes, that's work. That's work
on air. That is recorded forever, by the way. Just
they know. But yeah, no, I know the Lakers have another game here before the Clippers. And honestly, like, it would be kind of funny if I came on here and whined about the Lakers looking past the Utah Jazz and then forgot that the Lakers played a game against the Clippers.
Right. Like, Thanksgiving is on the horizon. Nope. Yeah.
Nothing between us and Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. What did you think of this one? 108-106 was the final. The Lakers kind of sleepwalked through the majority of this one. Apparently, Utah has some incredible nightlife that nobody is legally aware of.
They also have a hold on every looks like white center that can defend the rim, just is only allowed to play for the Utah Jazz, I guess, because obviously
I was laughing because I was looking at their crowd. So every time they pan to the crowd,
okay,
if you saw somebody in a Jazz jersey, definitely a white person. The only minorities in that building were Lakers fans. It was a weird thing. I didn't know what was going on there, but
did you see the guy wearing the full
turkey? Played pretty well tonight and kind of poked the bear a little bit. Obviously, Walker Kessler is hurt. Yusuf Nurkic played in this one. Kevin Love out there playing some minutes as well. So yeah, they, every night is whiteout night for the Utah Jazz.
Right. No, but you're talking about the crowd. There's a guy in a full turkey suit just absolutely going nuts. And I was like, man, this guy just has a hold on whatever holiday is coming up. He's just gonna dress up as whatever that is. No, I thought
Yusuf Nurkic. That was
oh no. Yeah. So he had two jobs tonight. No, I thought this was pretty much the Lakers really did not respect the Utah Jazz very much. And they just played them a few days ago, learned that, hey, we can score on this team when we want. We can turn the defense up when we want. And honestly, against Lauri, they did a pretty good job, I thought. Lauri Markkanen did not go off for most of the game until the end of the game, where Lauri just decided, I'm 7'2", and I can shoot over all these dudes. So I don't know why I'm throwing the ball to Filipowski to do behind the back dribbles passes against LeBron. But yeah, I thought at least throughout this game, it was very much a lackadaisical kind of approach. We can, we kind of find our way. And then Luka just decided, let me try stuff in the third quarter. Let me just have fun behind the head pass. a nutmeg, just some ridiculous stuff. Ends up with 32 points. Could not hit a shot from three, but he was not going to stop trying. Just going to absolutely continue to fire away from downtown. But there's no easy road wins in the NBA. I always try to point out, and you get them where you can. 8-2 on the road is 8-2 on the road. But to me, the story of this one is the late game execution. Like that was an issue last year. That was an issue, throughout the playoffs, and that again reared its head today. And they really tried to hunt Keontae George. And it was kind of like, okay, it's your turn to hunt Keontae George. It didn't work. It's your turn to hunt Keontae George. And it didn't work. It's your turn. And then finally, they're like, all right, I got the ball with 7 seconds on the shot clock. I got to throw up a three. And I thought that got Utah in transition. And that's how you lose an 11-point lead in like a minute and a half, whatever they did. But you take the win.
Yeah. So over the course of the show, I want to talk about that late game offense and basically the offense in general. I just thought it was a lot of walking, like offensively and defensively, just a very slow and like methodical is a term you use if it looks good. Lazy is the term that you use if it doesn't. And I thought it was kind of a whatever, let's just get out of here with a win kind of game. And they did. I don't want to be too negative about the game. It was still a win, and you're still, like you said, 8-2. So maybe we'll figure out ways to maybe look beyond this game specifically to lighten the conversation up a little bit. In terms of things that I really, really liked, Maxi Kleber looks pretty good. He went out there. Now he passed up on some shots that he's not like he. That was one of the reasons that, he's an intriguing player is, hey, we have a guy who might knock down some open threes when he gets them, and for him to not even shoot them makes me a little nervous. But overall, I think he looked spry, a little athletic, got up and blocked a shot, had a dunk. So that's, and seeing as Deandre Ayton, dinged up his knee, Kleber playing some productive minutes, I think, is an important development.
Maxi looked like that was the healthiest I've seen Maxi look on the Lakers. And I don't know how much of that was going against Kevin Love and, Nurkic. Kind of makes you look a little faster, right? When you're standing next to those two. But his dunk is huge, right? The Lakers win by 2. And the only score that they got down the stretch was his pump fake drive, which, Anthony, if you go back and watch that play, that might be the worst closeout I've ever seen. Like Nurkic comes up. First of all, not in any position. Like even if Maxi doesn't pump fake there, like he's already behind him somehow before Maxi drives. It's the strangest closeout you'll see. Then he swipes behind when he's way out of the way. But in any case, no, this was the healthiest I've seen. Maxi also had a nice block, I believe, on Keontae George at the rim. The question for Maxi to me was never he was always a good player. It's just, can his body hold up? And tonight was the best it looked. And you're right, with Ayton, most likely, my guess, Ayton will sit on Tuesday because the Lakers only have one game between now and Friday, which is that Tuesday Clipper game, which would give him this whole week to kind of recover from whatever he's dealing with. But no, really good Maxi game. Surprised he closed even this one. So JJ obviously continues to really, really trust him. But this was his best game as a Laker so far.
Yeah, JJ really wants Maxi Kleber to be a thing. Really, really,
it would be
really
a good thing if it was a thing. Like if it's a thing,
But there's a chance he isn't, and I don't think JJ will ever realize it. That chance exists. That possibility exists. Luka was also really good in this one. He finished the night. He was the most productive Laker statistically: 33 points, 11 boards. 8 assists, 10 of 24 from the field. Like you said, Raj, 3 of 12 from 3-point range, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, including one free throw that I was like, oh, cool. That's the one that loses us this game. All right, sweet. And yet, when the Lakers needed a bucket, and one of the things that I think is a positive takeaway from this is that the Lakers aren't, I do think that they over attacked Keontae George down the stretch, but I would, if you're going to attack somebody or if you're going to hunt people, I would rather the Lakers hunt down than hunt up the way that they did previously. And rather than going out and bringing Yusuf Nurkic out, I would rather them just use their size and bludgeon tiny little guards like Keontae George or whoever the tiny little guard is that they're going to pick on from here on out.
It's funny watching Luka do this because he doesn't do it with any kind of, well, that guy has more length or wingspan, I should go at the other guy. He had Svi on him and decided, now I want Ace Bailey. Like, come bring me the long, athletic, rangy wing to hunt. It's just funny watching him make those decisions because it's like you have Svi on. You have the worst defender, the least athletic guy out there. Go at him, but no, they went after Keontae, and not every team has a 6'1", whatever Keontae is, that small guard to go at. And they were kind of leaving him one-on-one against LeBron a lot, which is pretty, disrespectful. And that's kind of a very easy entry point on offense. It's just Keontae's guarding LeBron. Here we go. Then they started loading up on that. But just again, something I've been asking for so long is something where it involves two of those guys together. We saw Austin screen for a LeBron, but a lot of that was in transition, not a lot in the half court. The LeBron Austin inverted screen has not really been there in the half court yet, hasn't been implemented. Obviously Luka dominating the ball kind of contributes to it, but yeah, again, just late game, it's just, all right, it's your turn this time, and we're just gonna stare and watch, and the defense gonna load up on you. That's something they're gonna have to solve. Utah's a team that couldn't take advantage, but other teams will beat you if you don't score. If you take 3 threes down the stretch that are all contested, they could have easily lost this one. I thought Lauri's mid-range jumper was going in. Like, I 100% thought that little pull up, he got the separation on LeBron. I thought that was going in, but yeah, they're gonna have to figure it out.
They deserve to lose. Like,
yeah,
if the basketball gods were just, the Lakers would have lost that game. Like, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. They are incredibly just with the Clippers so far this season, for example. But like,
maybe
that
too
was
much.
a game. What's that?
Maybe too much. The Clippers have paid some dues. I mean, they have absolutely sat in the
no such thing.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes, like, Kawhi played and then went to the locker room.
Pay his taxes. He may as well pay these dues. Like,
just say it. That's nothing to do with the Clipper fans. Just decide who owns their team. Yeah.
Also, over the course of the show, I want to come back to the issue of the Lakers starters, because I really don't like that lineup. I don't like the way that they play together. I don't like the tone that they tend to set. Did you see for the rest of the game tonight? What's that?
Did you look at the plus minus from tonight?
I haven't yet. So let's see. So LeBron was a minus 14 in this one. Marcus Smart was a plus 18, who subs in for LeBron.
It didn't close, by the way. Not Gabe, excuse me. JJ went with Gabe, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I just think JJ's always going to be a slave to shooting. Marcus Smart missed a ton of open threes,
but he was
Gabe
awesome everywhere else. Marcus Smart was
I'm
awesome.
just saying that, like, I'm just explaining where I think JJ is always going to come from. Is he's always going to lean spacing, which makes me nervous because I don't like this starting group. What do you think of the starters in this one?
Yeah, again, they play very slow, and you'd use the term methodical, which I think is the right term here. They play a very slow, kind of bruising style of basketball. I don't know, like, these two games, it's been tough because Utah plays such a motion offense with athletes. Tough team to kind of judge this fully on, because I think it's just a bad matchup from like a transition wise and play style wise. But definitely they look slow than the way they played. LeBron is still getting into his rhythm as well, so that's kind of the context needed here. 17 points tonight. I think he was like 6 for 17 from the field. Could not hit a jump shot at all. Everything looked like he was aiming it versus, actually shooting it. Every shot was kind of a last resort type of thing for him tonight, which I think he'll getting in his rhythm. But it's kind of loud. Like, every time Smart checks in, or some level of athlete comes in, the Lakers go on a little bit of a mini spurt, and they've kind of been winning these games. Not that it's LeBron's fault, right? You can look at his plus minus. I don't think that's representative of his play per se, but I think it's just kind of representative of the lineups that make a little bit more basketball sense, especially from an athlete perspective. And I don't even think Rui's done anything wrong. Rui's hit his shots. Like, he's playing hard. Rebound. I think he got 6-7 boards tonight. Like, I think he plays his role. It just feels like Smart is kind of coming for that, especially if he's healthy. That was always my thing with Marcus. Like, if he's healthy, he's the better fit around this. And it's kind of leaning that way. Smart is kind of getting into some of these interesting conversations with his plus minuses every game. He's kind of the plus minus kind of king now. But Well, we'll see. I don't think that lineup's going to change until losses kind of create the urgency to do it. I just don't see a change coming anytime soon.
I mean, coaches don't normally change starting groups while teams are winning, but I do think though that I think this, and it might be that space in between think and hope, but JJ is more process oriented than prior Lakers coaches, and I do think that he has to notice that they are basically treading water with their starting group while Austin is on the court, while Luka is on the court, while LeBron is on the court. And I do kind of wonder, like, if LeBron just happens to be the first sub out, he just happens to be that the guy Marcus Smart is subbing in for. I've kind of wondered if Rui was the guy who subbed out there, if the same plus minus would exist, or it would exist to a greater extent. But yeah, like I don't know. This kind of reminds me, Raj, of the Avery Bradley starting deal from a few years ago. That like I feel
team
like
was so
I'm gonna keep
so good it
banging
didn't
this
matter.
drum. Yeah, like I'm gonna keep banging this drum, and you and every other person that I talk to on the show or text with or whatever you're gonna be like, he's not changing it. They're winning, and it's like, what do you want them to win by 20 instead of 10, or do you? Yeah, and it's like, yes, actually, I do. I would prefer that because the thing is, Raj, you look at the standings right now, and I'm going to pull them up really quickly. But you look at the standings in the NBA, and I think the Lakers actually jumped up to the second seed in the West with this one. Yeah, they did.
Well, they're tied with Denver now, I believe. So Denver's 12-4, or Denver's 12-4, and I think we're 12-4. Yeah.
So the Thunder sit at 17-1, right? They are just running away with the conference again.
They don't exist. Like, just put them above the NBA.com or standings list. Just take them out, and that's where the
Which podcast I was listening to today, and they were like talking about the Lakers. It was a national pod, and they were talking about the Lakers, and I was like, maybe, just maybe, and then I like remembered the Thunder exists, and I was like, like it's so annoying. But anyway, so the Thunder, the Thunder sit at 17-1. The Lakers, like we just talked about, sit at 12-4. So do the Denver Nuggets. The Houston Rockets sit at 10-4. Then you have the Spurs at 11-5 and the Suns at 11-6. And then you have in the first play-in seed, you have the Minnesota Timberwolves at 10-6. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and look, like I mostly agree with this, right? I mostly agree with Ruiz, who says a win is a win, right? In a vacuum, yeah, you're absolutely right. A win is a win. But look at let's take a look at the point differentials here in the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder, like we said a second ago, I hate them.
Plus a billion
16.9 is their point differential so far. You have the Denver Nuggets that sit at plus 10. You have the Houston Rockets that sit at plus 10.4. You have the San Antonio Spurs who sit at plus 6.1. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves who sit at plus 6. And then the Phoenix Suns sit at plus 5.2. The Lakers are the seventh worst point differential, the seventh worst point differential in the conference at plus 2.7. That's one of the things that I tend, that everybody who has to analyze teams in comparison to these other ones. That's one of those stats that does kind of matter a little bit. And the Lakers just haven't been very impressive in this specific way. And I think it's due in large part because they don't necessarily have to dig their way out of any kind of a hole that the starting group, digs for them. But they certainly aren't hitting the second unit that comes in. You're like, all right, thank goodness they're finally playing players that actually fit together in a modern basketball sense. And I really think that if the Lakers, tweaked the starting group here one way or another and added some athleticism, added some high motor, like who's high motor in the starting five right now?
Yeah, that was one of my
Austin's not really high motor. Luka isn't. LeBron isn't. Rui really isn't. Ayton really isn't. So that there's just like they're at a real deficiency in terms of athleticism and motor. And it just game in. We've only seen it for 2 games, and maybe there are some things that they can do that might improve this. But we're 2 games in, and it's 2 straight games of waiting for the first sub.
I might have lost you.
Oh, I'm right here. All right.
Oh, okay. There we go.
And and I can hear you.
Cut out.
But yeah, I was basically saying that like it's only 2 games so far with the starting group, but it is 2 straight games of like this really isn't very pretty.
Yeah, I think they're gonna give it an honest shot, right? I think they're gonna at least try this, and I still think this is your most talented 5, obviously with Ayton out there instead of Jackson, but this is still your most talented 5. And we'll see if Smart enters in. But I'm with you. It's a slow lineup. Again, I think LeBron's resurgence is gonna kind of be the context of this, in terms of how fast he kind of gets back to wherever his full health is, or back to his normalized play. Right now, I could tell he's still not 100% back to full rhythm, which is expected. His second game back, still in a playmaking kind of role. Which again, I think this is kind of the vision in terms of what the shots kind of pass around would be, like 30 for Luka, 20 plus for Austin, and LeBron in that 20 range with a bunch of assists. And I thought he kind of played that role. But again, the Lakers played a lot of games without their stars. They played obviously this whole season without LeBron. They played games without Luka, without Austin. I think that kind of probably enters into the kind of plus minus in terms of what their win margin is. But again, I think it's pretty loud how impactful it is when we get to our bench. That's where we're kind of bludgeoning teams, is when you have LeBron and Austin out there with athletes like Laravia, and Jackson, and they just kind of run up and down. There's a little bit more athletes out there, but it is a slow pace game. Luka's 3-pointer has kind of left him. Austin's 3-pointer has kind of left him, which is also making these games a little bit closer. The shot selection that they've gotten, I thought, is pretty ugly the last 2 games, other than kind of the second half against Utah, which again, a lot of that was without, one of the big 3 out there. And that's something they're going to have to figure out. I have to check what those 3 together were tonight. But with LeBron's being with LeBron being a minus 15, I can't imagine it's that high. They had a pretty terrible plus minus in the first game, but they blew out Utah, so it didn't really matter. Tonight was a close one. And I always say, like, how you play with your stars on the court, like, that's everything. That's who's going to be out there the most, especially in playoff time and the big games. But they have a chance to really kind of get some space in the standings with these next few home games. And I think when they go on the road, it'll kind of tell you a lot. I think the starting lineup can probably win them through these next few games versus the Clippers, the Mavericks, the Pelicans. Those aren't games that are really going to test this starting lineup. It's when you kind of get on the road, where you'll kind of see, and I'm sure JJ will kind of be able to evaluate the stars a little bit more.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have taken into account tonight's game so far.
It doesn't come up till a little bit later.
Yeah, it won't be up until but it is something to track, because like those guys, that's the Lakers identity, right? Like that's the thing that, like, the Lakers are supposed to hang their head or hang their hat on whatever it is that those guys bring. And I just think they're working, because I've seen a lot of people, especially over like when we're like live tweeting, or if I tweet something and people are reacting at a frustrating moment in the game, I see a lot of people jumping to these conclusions of like, see, told you, LeBron or Luka and Austin is just too unathletic, and it's like, oh, told you. Like I see right here, why is LeBum playing 30 minutes? And it's like, I your best 3 players, if they're playing, or if they're of the caliber that those 3 guys are, they should be able to hold up basically any group or whatever. But like, if there are fundamental flaws to the group that you're asking them to hold up, it's kind of unfair to those guys to tell them, like, night in, night out, to hold it up. So look, maybe we start to see some better stuff from this group moving forward. I actually think the Clippers and the Mavericks are a better matchup for that starting group than the Utah Jazz, right?
Yeah.
Because Utah, they really space you out. They force you to guard from the 3-point in, sometimes from even beyond the 3-point in, a couple feet beyond the 3-point, all the way to the basket. They also have size, right? Like I thought Nurkic and Love and Laurie were really giving the Lakers problems with creating second chance opportunities. And so like, Utah is just flat out a better team than Dallas and flat out a better team than the Clippers. So maybe this group looks better the next couple of games, but I still think these athleticism and motor problems are going to continue on.
Couple things. I was just thinking, you mentioned Avery Bradley from the 2020 team. That team was so ridiculous because they had two starters that probably didn't need to be starting. They had Avery Bradley and JaVale McGee.
And JaVale, yeah.
It didn't matter because that team was just so dominant that it didn't matter that two of those guys would never close games. And everyone's like, they're winning by 20. They're winning by 20 plus a night. You mentioned Utah's better than the Clippers and Dallas. You probably correct in that. But what's funny, I think the Clippers are going to get more respect from this Lakers team than that Utah Jazz team.
Especially with Kawhi back.
And I promise you, Luka will not be sleepwalking against the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. That will not be a game he comes into and is just like, oh, it's cool. We're going to go through the motions. He might do some nasty stuff to that defense, by the way, because I think they're out again of their big man. And Cooper Flag is kind of carrying the Mavs in a really, way that he shouldn't be at 18 years old. But yeah, I think the Clippers are still going to they got Kawhi back tonight. I think he was able to kind of finish the game. But yeah, the Clippers, I think they're going to take a little bit more serious than this young and feisty Utah team that is a better cohesive unit right now. But the Clippers still have more star power with, Harden, Kawhi, and Zoo still gives the Lakers challenges. So they're gonna have to be ready, and I think they will.
I want to talk about the Lakers shooting because the data sample is getting bigger by the game, and the shooting that we were hoping would be kind of a blip on the radar or an outlier bad, we were kind of hoping for some positive regression over the course of the season. We aren't quite seeing it. Rui has continued to shoot the ball pretty well, but Austin and Luka combined for 4 of 20 from 3-point range tonight. And I just think
how many did you think were good shots between those?
Well, that's exactly it. Because I wanted to ask you, is this a concern in terms of like the caliber of shooters that the Lakers have, or do you think this is more a function of the type of shots that these guys are relying on?
I think it's definitely the type of shots, both Austin and Luka. And I think now with LeBron back, I can say the word kind of unnecessarily are taking some shots that they probably don't have to.
Yeah.
That's part of the calculation though, right? When you have two high burst scoring guards, this is the double-edged sword of that you just live with, right? You live with the 2 for 10 from 3 because on some other night it's 6 of 10 from 3 and it's a 55-point game that's leading your team, right? That's kind of the difference there. That's some stuff you have to live with. But that being said, I would love success to be our guide just a little bit on these, like have success be your compass here where, okay, if I'm 1 for 9 from 3 and I have Svi on me, I really don't have to come down and take a 35-footer step back. I can, and we're so much better than the team across from me. It doesn't matter. But against other teams, I think it will. That's a place, and Luka's talked about this in terms of having better shot pass decisions. And that's where I think you can really leverage LeBron's, playmaking ability. LeBron's more of a pass first guy than both of those guys. Both Austin and Luka are looking for their own. That's where I think LeBron can really bridge this and kind of control where the shots come from a little bit more, control the pace of, the tempo of the team rather than, all right, just come down, no passes, I'm pulling up. That's some of the stuff you have to live with, but I definitely think this is shot selection thing versus Luka and Austin forgot how to shoot. Like they're just taking step back, tough ones late in the shot clock, desperation ones almost that I don't think they need to. There's more than enough offensive talent on this team to where you don't have to do that. I know that's part of Luka's DNA, and that's also the place that Austin has gotten to. But there's definitely a balance that you gotta kind of get to here. I don't think they found that. And putting LeBron in the mix has complicated it even more a little bit, because he's also an isolation guy, not to the extent those two have been so far, but that's something they're gonna have to figure out for sure. But I don't think this is I'm worried those two won't be able to shoot. It's just, let's get a little bit better shots, improve your shot quality just a bit.
I would say Austin especially. Like, Luka's the top scorer in the NBA. He has racked up scoring numbers at an insane rate over the course of the beginning of his career to now, And I like Austin, good story, all that stuff, but he's not Luka, and he's taking Luka shots, And it's like Austin, like I think it's a combination of the Lakers need to figure out a way to draw up better looks for Austin, that like feature him, spaced out to the opposite corner where he can benefit from a swing kind of opportunity. But like I'm pretty good on Austin shooting these. Like the first shot that he took, like one of the things that I've really paid attention to is what is the first shot that that Austin takes? What's the first 3-pointer that he takes? And so far over the last, week or so, and maybe a couple weeks, while he's really been struggling from deep, all of his first attempts are either a grenade at the end of a shot clock that he has to take some crazy step back over a 7-footer or something like that on a switch. Or it's a 3 from like 3 or 4 feet beyond the 3-point range, which, yeah, you're technically open, but that's a deep shot. And he doesn't really have, he's stronger now. But he doesn't really have the form that I think, he's a very one-handed shooter, right? And some of the guys that you see who are effective from shooting really far out there, I mean, like LeBron is kind of an outlier because he's just so strong. But a lot of the guys that you see, the best example of this, right, is Steph, right? And he uses his second hand on his 3. And Austin is still more one-handed on his shot. And that's a really deep shot for you to just kind of catapult up there. So I would like to see the Lakers figure out a way for Austin's first attempt to be better than the attempts that he's taking, because I think they set a tone for the rest of his game.
Well, I'm glad you used the term grenade, because there has to be better shot selection for sure. But Austin also gets a ton of the grenades that the Lakers decide, whether it's LeBron in the post for 15 seconds and decides, I don't feel like backing down anymore. Here you go, Austin. And Austin's like, all right, well, I can't swing this to Rui, so I'm gonna have to take a step back through my leg shot. And Luka, right? Luka is the king of, I'm either handing you a grenade or I'm either handing you the best pass you've ever had in your life. That's like, these are the two that I'm giving to you. And so a lot of the Luka to Austin passes are Luka drives middle, his man comes out a little bit and he kicks it back, and Austin has to take like a step back 3. And again, with Austin, like going from the shots that he was taking to now, like when you want to keep your shot volume while kind of implementing another kind of shot creator, this is the type of shots you get to. But I think with him, he gets to the line so much that I think that's a place he's probably the best driver right now in terms of just going straight head on, and the Lakers need that from him, but that's also taxing, right? And for him, he can't put his head down, go to the rim every time. That's a tough thing. That's a lot of contact. That's a lot of wear and tear. And I think that's kind of the balance that they both decided, him and Luka, I'm sure. Like, hey, I'm not going to barrel my head down and go to the rim every time, but I have a step back 3 in my bag I can get to. And if I hit 3 out of, 9 of these at least, while I'm playing other parts of my game. But yeah, I think both of them can really, and again, I would love them to leverage each other's skills together. I'm not sure I've seen a Luka Austin screen game yet, like in whatever games it's been. Maybe it's been a few of them, but still not enough that I'd like to see kind of both of them work together in terms of throwing each other post entries or whatever. But yeah, with Austin, I think these are the shots that he's being told to kind of come off of pick and rolls and shoot, especially when teams are in drop coverages. These are the shots he's going to get. I trust that both of them will make enough. But I just think the whole team's offensive process still is a little bit slow, and that was kind of expected to me when LeBron got back. This is a whole nother generational past playmaker that you got to kind of fit in And there's still a little bit of like, all right, LeBron hasn't touched it in 2 possessions. Let's get him the ball. All right, like Luka's kind of had 3 minutes with the basketball. Here's Austin, it's your turn, kind of thing. These are the kind of ebbs and flows they're gonna have to work out.
Yeah, one other way that he could be more involved, like he doesn't really set very many screens. Like he set one that I can recall for LeBron that didn't
Who,
really go
Austin?
anywhere. Austin does, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
they've
would
really
like to
gone
see
away
him
from
maybe
that.
like set some inverse pick and roll, get some inverse pick and roll opportunities for Luka and LeBron.
Yeah, they did that a lot last season. This season hasn't. Well, I mean, it's only been 2 games, but hasn't been as big a part of the offense as I thought it would be. It's been much more just LeBron in the post, with a little bit Austin screening to get a switch and just have them, attacking the post from there. But yeah, there's a lot of time left. They'll have more practices coming up to kind of tighten the screws on that. But yeah, offensive process was not pretty tonight.
Yeah, so Austin on the season is shooting 32.6% from 3-point range. And if the Lakers are going to have the level of offense that they kind of need to have to compete with the OKCs, to compete with the Denvers, to compete with Houston, he needs to shoot better. Like whether it's knocking down the shots that he's taking or whether it's getting him better looks, whatever it is, he cannot finish the season shooting 33% from 3-point range. Like that would really hurt the Lakers.
Yeah, it's around 35 on catch and shoot threes, which I think and even some of his catch and shoots are granades, right? And so I think that's kind of telling.
Deep threes, and I just don't think. I think of one of the things that our buddy Cranjus keeps an eye on is like shot quality and shot difficulty and stuff like that. And I would probably, just off the top of my head, completely anecdotally, probably Austin has the worst shot quality of anybody on the Lakers so far. And like I like Austin. I think he's a fantastic player, but Austin can't be shooting the most difficult shots of anybody on your team consistently. It's between him and Luka, and like with Luka, he's Luka. Like he's a better player than Austin is. So it's like Luka, the bad shots, the tough shots, that's kind of part of his shot diet. But I think the Lakers need to find a way to make life easier on Austin. And I think Austin plays a role in this too. Like, setting more screens and being a little bit more active in that other way, cutting to the basket and stuff. Those are ways that I think he can kind of get himself going as well.
They're both so elite in the mid-range too. I'd love for them to kind of kick that volume up. Austin has one of the best leaning jumpers, and he gets fouled a ton. So it's
just phenomenal touch. Like,
oh, ridiculous. Like he had one in transition where he
and that's the benefit of the type of shooting form that he has, because the ball sits way deep here in the shooting pocket, right? It's my dad always used to call it like put the ball on a platter, right? And it means that the ball is going to lead. It's going to roll all the way up your hand, all the way up your fingers, and it's going to have nice, clean backspin on it, and it's going to hit that rim super soft, and it's going to, it's got predictable spin to where it's going to go off the backboard the same way every time. So he's like, that's why that's the traditional shot. Like if you watch the old Hoosiers movie, right? The best player on that. Okay, it's basketball. Like you've never seen Hoosiers, the basketball movie?
No, I've not seen Hoosiers. I've seen Coach Carter.
Well, there weren't very many pretty jump shots in Coach Carter.
No, there were not. I feel like they made the form like purposefully ugly in that movie. Like it was like that was part of it.
I hope so. Like it would make more sense than these guys shooting that poorly and winning a state championship or whatever they won.
They did win it all. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
They're just like the Bad Boys Pistons, just beating teams to death, beating everybody 35-34. But yeah, like I just you're absolutely right. Get Austin more involved in the mid range and like that's the other thing too, is that like you have LeBron. And maybe this is just part of it too, because like I've seen some people kind of like gnashing their teeth a little bit about like what they've seen from LeBron so far, and obviously Austin. I think there's basketball is this very rhythmic sport, and guys are guys had a Timo Cruz. Thank you, Inside Out.
That shot was crazy though. I mean, it was
His
just
like hands like way on top of the
yeah,
ball. It was so weird.
it was went in the movie.
Like that was the least realistic part about that movie, was that Timo Cruz ever made a jumper like this.
Right. That
like,
was it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's an aspect of this that is like Austin had so many touches early on in the season, especially with Luka being hurt, in and out of the lineup. Austin had a usage rate that was crazy, and then Luka comes back and you kind of recalibrate your usage rate and the amount of time that you spend on the ball. You figure that out again with Luka, and now you're doing that all over again with LeBron also being in it. So like all of this is a process. Nobody here is like sounding any alarms. The Lakers still sit at 12-4, and they're 8-2 on the road, which is a really good stat, So overall, I'm really happy with what we've seen from the Lakers so far. It's just that in these two games, I was hoping that life would get easier on Austin, and I don't think that it necessarily has.
I think it's gotten easier from he doesn't have to handle as much on ball. And something that I've noticed that I'm really interested in, Utah didn't ball pressure as much these two games. And Utah is a ball pressure team. And I wonder how much of that is the LeBron effect, where it's very tough to ball pressure a team that has 3 ball handlers you can go to. So that's something that they've really kind of been able to take advantage of. But yeah, I think the offensive process will improve as the season kind of continues. Those 3, that's the whole point. And that's what's so great about having LeBron back in November versus if he came back, late December, whatever it is, you have time to kind of iron out these type of, wrinkles in the offensive process. But yeah, we talked about this all summer. Like Austin has passed the threshold of like, hey, I'm just gonna now go back to being a connective tissue piece, right? Like you have 3 guys that kind of need to eat in terms of a usage way. And I asked you, I think on the last pod or whenever, scour the league and look who has 3 ball handlers that starts. I could not find one. And that's why I think you've seen LeBron, I think smartly from him, look at it and go, hey, I don't need to run a million pick and rolls. I could just stand here in the post and play point. Don't have to do nothing. Like dribble twice, help comes, kick it. And I think that's a way he can kind of really reserve his body too for the long haul. But yeah, it's a process they're gonna definitely have to figure out. They took 3 step back threes in the final minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing they're gonna figure out.
And all of them led to transition opportunities for Utah, And that's the other thing, is that like the Lakers are going to have to figure out a way to continue to run. Like I just think when you're going to get as many defensive rebounds as the Lakers are, or if you can rebound the way that the Lakers are capable of rebounding defensively, you have to get out and run a little bit. And again, like I think that's another way that I think Austin can, because he had in the first half, right? Like LeBron got a rebound, got it to Austin in a hit ahead, and Austin was able to get to the rim. And it's just your half court offense, night in, night out. Those baskets that you score in the half court are a lot harder than the baskets that you score in transition. A lot hard. And that's even a half court team that is going to be as good as the Lakers are whenever their offense is fully up and running. Even then, the Lakers are going to be much, playing in transition, getting out and running, seeing only one defender between you and the basket. Like that puts an extra pep in your step. And that's just a more fun. I've always preferred playing basketball that way. And for the Lakers, like if you don't run on missed baskets, the other team misses. If you don't run on misses, you're kind of sort of letting the other team off the hook, and it's an emotional thing that like, oh well, all right, I can miss a shot and I can still get back on defense. It's okay. Part of why playing OKC is so difficult is because if you miss a shot, that
They're
is
gone.
a running opportunity for OKC. And if you miss 2 or 3 shots, that's a 6-0, that's an 8-0 run, just like that. And the Lakers, like at no point today, even while they were getting stops, they went on their like 10-0 runs or anything like that. But they didn't have any like stomp you out moments. And those stomp you out moments come from a good half court team also getting out and running on occasion too. And that's what the Lakers, I think, need to figure out a way to continue to do over courses of games.
That's where I think LeBron helps too. I think Luka likes a more slow, methodical pace where he's really kind of intentional in what he does, right? Will take up 7 seconds of the 8 second to get it across half court. That's to me where LeBron, really helps. He's been running out and getting like full court passes. By the way, some of our full court passes are just like, we got to stop. Like
No, the lobs.
The lobs, but also the full court.
The lobs are driving me nuts. It's like, stop throwing lobs to white guys.
All right.
If Dalton isn't out there,
okay,
no lobs to white players.
Jake LaRavia can
no.
Jake has he can jump. All right.
Unless it's like off the backboard and nobody else is there, then maybe to Jake. But definitely not to Luka. Definitely not to Austin.
No.
And even Jake, like, you can get a better shot. Like, wait for a not white guy to show up and dunk it there. Like, that's like, that's all I ask. Stop throwing. Like, it's just there are things that my dad's family cannot do, and catching lobs in the NBA typically is not one of those things. Like, we just got to stop. Stop doing that. But yeah, like the hit ahead passes, I actually don't mind that the Lakers are extra aggressive on the hit ahead passes. Some of them are out of rhythm and stuff like that. I would rather like get into the habit or stay in the habit of throwing those. And sometimes that takes throwing a couple too many. I don't need them to get in the habit of throwing too many lobs though.
Yeah. It's just know your personnel. Like Jake's not getting that. Like, just like, that's the one. Like, Jake can catch a lob in transition, but like, he's not out jumping someone who's leaning on him, right? Like, to me, that's a place where it's a little bit know your personnel. But that's where I think in transition, that's where they can work on. And again, their half court offense is something they're gonna have to figure out. We've had like so different iterations of the team where it's like, all right, it's Luka running the team, Austin running the team, Luka and Austin. Now you get Luka, Austin, LeBron back, and that was the great part about getting all these wins out early. Where you look at these other teams in the West, where like the Clippers lost tonight, and you go to 5-12, even with Kawhi back. Like, that is a mountain to climb in a Western Conference where you play OKC 4 times. So that's like 4 losses right there that you just put on right on the schedule.
The Clippers are 2-8 in their last 10.
That's what I'm saying. They've paid some prices. Like,
no,
they're gonna give a top pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder this season.
Well, okay, maybe later in the season when they're out of the playoffs, then you can start like paying fewer dues. Like, right now, I want to see them embarrassed to the nth degree, because I know what isn't coming from Adam Silver on this aspiration thing.
You think nothing's coming? Something's coming. I don't know what's coming, but something like that was.
I'm saying this is the basketball gods getting out ahead of it and just being like, you know what? This is going to be so embarrassing. This season is going to be so embarrassing that when Adam Silver slaps Steve Ballmer on the wrist and makes him promise never do that again, that we'll be able to look at it and be like, all right, well, at least they've lost 47 times this year.
All right. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Raj, anything else that you wanted to talk about from this game? Let's actually talk about this. You were watching the South Bay Lakers.
That's where I was
simultaneously with this.
Yes.
And have we talked about Dero so far?
You were the one that was. I'm gonna remind you. You're like,
that's fair. We did talk about it.
Jumping off the bridge. No, you compared it to your kids jumping from the couch and you staring at them, telling them no. I was like, oh, but I can make it. Like, pretty sure we can get there. Dude, Thiero is inathletic. Like, again, I haven't been at too many games like doing this as long, but he's the most athletic rookie I've seen just in terms of having his NBA body already.
Well, that's a part of it. That right there is a part of it. Is that he's explosive vertically, he glides all over the court, and he's also already filled out. He's already strong. Like this, he's going to get stronger. He's going to get more athletic, more like I remember when Blake Griffin was drafted out of Oklahoma, and Blake Griffin was doing nonsense in
ridiculous
college. Like the stuff that he was doing on a college court. And I remember, so Blake Griffin, I believe, missed his whole rookie.
He did. Got hurt against the Lakers, I believe, in a preseason game that missed the whole season. Yeah,
he's like landed on his knee and then he was out for the year. And so he misses that whole rookie season. And I remember like going into the next year and I'm like, this guy can't be up for rookie of the year. This is going to be unfair. He's already the most athletic person on planet Earth. And he has a whole year just to devote to conditioning and like honing that athleticism, combining skill with that athleticism. Like he's going to spend a whole year with NBA trainers. And then lo and behold, right, he dunked on somebody so bad that it became a verb. Like when he Mozgov,
yeah.
But that's the thing with Thero is that like I'm watching him play and I'm like, oh good God. Like this guy, because one of the things that the Lakers I'm pretty sure are gonna do under Mark Walter is like really invest in individual coaching. Like so to this point, the way that the Lakers kind of operate is they like to, air quotes, empower players and let them go be free and develop at their own paces and with their own coaches and stuff like that. But that's not how the Dodgers operate. That is 100% not how they do this. With the Dodgers, they are always tweaking swing planes. They are always messing with pitch usage and the way that guys throw pitches to maximize spin rates and velocities and stuff like that. And you know, the way that guys play defense in the field is something that the Dodgers always are kind of working on as well. And they take a very hands-on approach to development of players like at the top of the roster and prospects, like everybody. They are always, you know, there isn't like a, you know, Shohei, like Yamamoto has his like training regimen that he is very adamant about. So they work with him on some of that stuff, but they are also very hands-on as far as like what you're going to throw and how you're going to throw all this stuff. And one of the things that I think is going to start happening here relatively soon is Mark Walter is going to go out and find all the best individual coaches that he can bring in, the best that money can buy. And he's going to work with guys like Thero, and he's going to get even more athletic and he's going to look even more filled out, and he's going to combine skill with that athleticism and stuff. And you're going to maximize the potential that you drafted in bringing this guy in. And that's legitimately like exciting to consider.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I don't know, but I feel like I watch more South Bay games than most people.
You do.
Adu's one of the few guys I watched and went, he doesn't need this. Like in my opinion, it was like watching Lou Dort with freakish athleticism. It's a weird combination that you don't see very often. He's thick, and it doesn't look like a rookie at all in terms of his body. And he was flying around the court. This whole show has been about this team is slow. Like, how do we get them faster and more athletic?
Yeah.
And it's like at the end of our bench, we have this freakish athletic. Like I asked Bronny about Adu, and Bronny, who's the son of LeBron James, says this is one of the most athletic people I've been around.
Well, in fairness to Bronny, like it's not like, you know, he was pretty young when LeBron was at like his peak athleticism.
But still, like for Bronny to be impressed by someone else's athleticism, it's got to take.
Yeah, Bronny's also pretty athletic too. You know,
right? Bronny's athletics in his own right. And so to hear him say that, I thought was interesting. But no, Adu is a freakish athlete, and we sometimes just put those type of players in a certain box where okay, they're just athletic, and we don't really give them credit for other stuff he does, but. We had him and Chris Magnon, who's also been shining in the G League. Those two guys were defensive perimeter, like our defensive perimeter stoppers. And, they were just getting steals, deflections everywhere. My favorite thing about Adu, and I don't remember the last time we had this type of player, he dunks everything. And I don't mean like, yeah, I have it, like I caught it near the rim and I can go up. No, I'm catching from the 3-point line and you give me a little bit of a lane. I don't care if there's 5 people in the paint. Like I'm going up to dunk it. And that's just something that I think this team sorely needs. Like you just juxtapose that with the way Vando catches it in the paint. Not to do anything against Vando, but just like in terms of how our forwards catch it near the rim, Jackson's probably the only one that really goes up and dunks in that manner. Ayton's not really that type of player, and everyone else down the line, you can probably fit a encyclopedia under them when they jump. But like Adu Tiero, I feel like that's a guy that can really kind of take our athletic baseline above. Not trying to hype him up too much, but just misses like what we're missing is kind of what he does. And I think defensively he's already like he could really help in a meaningful way. But I don't know if he'll break the rotation. Kind of said tonight they kept him at home to go play in the G League tonight. When
I was a little bummed about it because I was like, there's a decent chance there's going to be some garbage minutes, but I'm glad that they kept him down there given the way that the game played out.
Yeah.
You mentioned Vando in passing there, but Vando not being a playable NBA player is like it. That's the Lakers were already at an athleticism deficit, and when Vando is one of your few athletes and he is not playable, that really hurt. Dalton also, for that matter, too, right? Like he's those are two of the better athletes on the Lakers roster, and neither of them, they're both duct taped to the bench right now. And it really shows like this team is just kind of slow, and we can call it methodical if we want to compliment them, but it's also just kind of slow. And I'm not going to pin hopes on Thiero coming in and being the injection of athleticism and stuff. I think the real injection of athleticism is going to have to come via trade in terms of like practical guys that like, start type of athlete. But like, I don't know. Did you see that Keon Ellis is actually, Sacramento is actually considering trading him?
Oh, God, I don't know what they're doing. Oklahoma City is going to steal Keon Ellis for like a 2045 second rounder. And it's going to just be somehow Keon Ellis is on OKC as well in some manner.
Jake Fisher reported that like half the league is checked in on Ellis. The Lakers are one of those teams I've heard. But
you think their GM was like, who? L-E? Spell that for me.
It's just so crazy, Ross, because they're like, yeah, they're trying to bring in defenders. Like they're trying to bring in, like they're trying to move Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis and Malik Monk and DeMar DeRozan and all these guys. They're trying to move these players for the sake of bringing in guys with like a more defensive mentality and mindset. And I'm like, he's right. I mean, please continue to fuck this up. Like, by all means, as long as he doesn't go to OKC, to your point. But like, if you're gonna screw this up to the extent of like trading Keon Ellis when you absolutely do not have to trade Keon Ellis, then just make sure you send him east.
They traded
the Lakers.
Who's the guard they traded? God, it was another defensive
guard.
Davion. Oh well, yeah, that's a terrible one. But they traded Davion Mitchell like just recently.
He's been really good in Miami.
It was the exact same deja vu situation. Everyone's like, Davion Mitchell's really good. Like, why is he not playing more? And all of a sudden he was on Toronto or wherever it was. I don't know. Last thing on them, I don't know if you watched Nuggets Kings, but Kings got a win in Denver. But like, again, not saying wins, of course, matter in the NBA, but the way they got the win, it was like DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook closing out the Nuggets. Like, great. Like, what? Your youth got nothing from that. Zach LaVine's in the corner setting screens for DeMar DeRozan. I don't know what they're doing.
I'm not gonna lie. I understand the point that you're making, but I was just so happy to see Denver lose at home because, like,
the
West
course
needs to figure out a way to split up the Nuggets and the Thunder so that somehow, some way, Denver slides down to the 4 seed and they play each other.
They play each other round. Again. You want a rematch of last season?
I need it, like, because there's no viable path to the conference finals if. Like you are not getting to the NBA finals if you have to go through OKC and Denver. The Lakers just are not. I am not. I'm. Nobody. I think Houston is really, really good this year. you're not going to go through both of those teams and get to
that's tough. Yeah, it's a tough thing to do. It's talk about shooting. You were talking about like the shooting regression of Austin and Luka. We're doing this weird thing where can Cam Johnson shoot is like a question. And I'm like, Cam Johnson is awesome, does everything. And once he starts hitting shots, that's when you should be worried. But
you should be worried now that they have like I don't know if it's still up there, but at one point they had the best half court offense in the league, and that was with not just Cam Johnson forgetting how to shoot, but also Christian Brown had forgotten how to shoot. Neither of those guys were shooting the ball very well, and they were still racking up points in the half court despite
Brown's hurt too, right? I think he's out for a few weeks, and they just keep humming along. Aaron Gordon's out now for I think a few weeks as well, so they have a few injuries. But Jokic is just a monster. Like every night is 35, 15, and 12.
Yeah,
it's just
on like the most of like ridiculous efficiency that you've ever seen.
Yeah,
but that's the thing though, is that like you have to go through that in this West, you know, and that's why. Like when like people are gonna ask, they're gonna watch the show tomorrow, and you're like, "Are you guys sure that the Lakers won this game?" Just based on the tone that we had.
Sure.
And the reason that I've had this tone is because like, look at what's up at the top of the West. You know, like the Thunder don't have games like the ugliest or the ugliest win that you'll see the Thunder have is like a 9-point game that they squeaked out. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would be averaging 35 points a game so far this season if he ever played in fourth quarters. He never plays in fourth quarters.
Yeah,
and that's like those Warriors teams from back in the day too. Steph would have set like he already broke and set and rebroke and reset all of the 3-point, but they'd be even further out of reach if he ever had to play in fourth quarters. And that's the thing is that like I'm not gonna hyperventilate over point differential with the Lakers not even having played 20 games so far. Like I'm not that worried about it. But the longer that they kind of hover at a mediocre point differential, the louder that number continues to get. And that's why, some of these things that we've been talking about over the course of the show and the tone that we have in this game, that every Lakers fan watching this is going to be like, yeah, that was kind of an ugly, annoying win. Like the tone comes from the types of teams that the Lakers have to get through just to get to the finals.
Yeah, I think these next games will kind of be telling. Against Utah, again, it's tough to gauge. I don't think they respected Utah very much. A lot of gambling, a lot of we'll just turn it up when we need to. And honestly, they kind of did. I mean, up 11, 2 minutes left before whatever the offense kind of turned into. So we'll see against the Clippers on Tuesday. I think Clippers will have their attention record, be Dan, whatever it is. They'll be focused against that team.
Yep. All right. So the plan for this week is obviously Raj and I recorded tonight. Tomorrow is going to be the mailbag. Tuesday, I'll be solo for the recap after the game against the Clippers. Wednesday, I will find a guest. And then Thursday, Thanksgiving, might take Thanksgiving off. I think I might call that a family day, but we'll see. Worst comes to worst, I will be right back in the lounge on Friday, nursing that post Thanksgiving hangover. But yeah, Raj, thanks very much for hopping on. Anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
Should have a video on whatever the heck happened at the end of this game tomorrow, so I'll break that down tomorrow morning.
Yeah, sounds good. Check out Raj's work on Offside. Check out my work on Offside. And until the next time you guys hear from us, I'm Anthony Irwin. That was Raj Palu. Have a great rest of your evening. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Come on, let's go.
Bye, everyone.